Let me introduce James. He is the president and lead strategist at Tronvig, which is a brand strategy and management consulting firm based in New York. He's been doing that for over 23 years. Typically works with companies between 20 and 20,000 employees to sort out their brand strategy, placing emphasis on how his clients behave as businesses, not just how they present themselves. And today he's going to introduce the Tronvig brand pyramid, a tool that he's employed with hundreds of engagements and which forces the kind of internal discipline that is essential for business success. So I am going to expand this and then hand over the sharing to all participants, and that gives that will give James the opportunity to share. So James, you have, it's 15 minutes total. So typically if you can do like 10 minutes and leave 5 minutes at the end for Q&A, that's the best model. Go for it. You're on mute. You're on mute. Everybody else should be on mute except for James.
There we go. Can everyone see this okay? Yeah, so like Michael said, we're a brand strategy management consulting firm. We have a mostly New York-based team. And today I want to focus on this particular tool, the brand pyramid. It's deceptively simple. Essentially 5 questions, starting at the bottom. What is your organization? The challenge here, and this is because businesses accrue complexity over time, the challenge is to be able to articulate this succinctly in a single sentence, and ideally the kind of sentence that would function in like a conversation in a bar. Some examples of organizations that have a good articulation of what they are. Kimberly-Clark, we're one of the world's largest makers of essentials for a better life. One of our clients, the Grand Forks Public Library, it's your place for innovation, inspiration, and creativity. National Museum of Women in the Arts, the only major museum in the world solely dedicated to champion women through the arts. So working through to that sort of answer is something that is surprisingly difficult. I've never walked into an engagement where this took less than a few hours. The second question as we go up is how. How do you as an organization deliver value differently or better than your competitors? The differently part is actually the most valuable because for the most part, how you deliver value, if what you say is, well, we're better at such and such, it's really hard to see that on the outside. But if you're different from your competitor in some meaningful way, it's much easier to effectively communicate about that. So here's some examples of companies you know. How is Walmart different? Extraordinarily logistical efficiency resulting in lower prices, ubiquity, and a comprehensive product line. It's an example. First Command, one of our clients, personal coaching relationship, a focus on military families, and individualized comprehensive financial planning. Another client of ours, Intelligent 401k, expertise backed up by proprietary technology, personalization, and simplicity. So these things, if you get them right, if all 3 of those elements of your value proposition are articulated well, particularly if they are differentiating, to take the notion that, well, what is strategy? I think the best definition of strategy is a meaningfully differentiated market position backed up by operational strategy. So if you have these differences that are perceivable on the outside and you have the operational capacity to genuinely deliver on those differences, then that becomes a profound and effective value proposition. Again, relatively difficult to get to. And if you ask a room of businesses like, what's your differentiator? and you have them write it down. If you have a group of people in the same industry, you have them all write it down. And they'll sort of vehemently tell you that this is my differentiated value proposition. And then you read them out to the participants around the room, and you'll hear almost the same things over and over again. It's quite an eye-opener if you do that with a group of companies. The next level is why. Why does your customer care? And of course, the pre-question to this is, who is your customer? And that there's a separate process to sort of distill that out. But once you understand who your customer is, what is it that motivates them? And it's important here to understand not necessarily the superficial motivators, but the emotional motivators. So, for example, Disney theme parks, I would argue, operate not on happiness or anything like that, but rather guilt. So they understand that American parents, for the most part, feel a kind of inadequacy in their, particularly pre-COVID, when you had spent no time at all with your kids. This idea that you've not spent a sufficient amount of time or care and attention with your children, Disney offers a solve for that. They essentially guarantee this sort of positive, happy family experience with documentation. They understand that and play it very well. Toyota, for example, their motivation is the reliability because of the inconvenience of needing to get your car repaired, Amazon convenience. The next level beyond that is often thought of as brand personality, but I think it's the more useful articulation is your core values. Here's some examples. And I think that it's good to have only 3, because if you have this whole laundry list of core values, you can't remember them and you can't possibly use them as a kind of effective ecosystem in solving a real problem. So here's some examples of empathy, integrity, and agility, one of our clients. Another one, love, courage, and effectiveness. Our own, empathy, learning, and rigor. These should be a kind of balance so that they're sometimes in tension with one another and other times in concert. So they serve as a kind of ecosystem that keeps you within the guardrails that you should be operating performatively as an organization. They are not a part of your differentiated market position. They are some true elements of who you are and should help in coordinating the day-to-day decisions across all functional units, all levels of the organization. And thus, when an outside customer, partner, client interfaces with you, the decisions that are being made at that tactical level by the individual employees or the business unit that they're dealing with should be undergirded by these core values and thus contribute to a more consistent brand experience on the outside. So this is something you work on inside and does not have to be visible on the outside, but it can be felt on the outside. And then finally, the sort of holy grail, and that's to have a singular brand idea, some essential thing that is understood about you, not just in your own mind as a business, but out in the world. Some examples in the automotive industry: Volvo is safety, BMW is driving performance, Mercedes is prestige, and Toyota reliability. Each of these is differentiating, and each of them is understood out in the world. Social media platforms: Instagram, living an enviable life; Facebook, keeping up with friends and family; LinkedIn, professional networking; TikTok, sort of short form trends set to audio. In a business sector, you really need to figure out, like, what is that one thing that I need to be recognized for, that I am capable operationally of effectively delivering on, that will differentiate me in the mind of the customer or the prospect. Big chain retailers: Walmart is low prices, Target is approachable design, Costco, bulk shopping for families, and then IKEA, affordable Scandinavian design. So they've all worked this out and they're operating that way. Here, just quickly to walk through some case studies, here's First Command. They had kind of expanded their audience out into the general population, and we helped them get back to their founding core. dropping all civilian targets from their acquisition strategy. You can see the changes that meant or affected on their website, going from sort of a generic stock photo to their sort of clearly identified target. We also identified the customer, this motivated delegator among the military millennial population that they needed to deeply understand in order to carry forward their value proposition. We worked out all the details of their brand pyramid, and then all the strategy implications falling out from that. And that has resulted in sort of consistent growth and performance for the business over time. Here's another legacy business. They've been around about 15 years at the time they engaged with us. And even though their name was Partner Re, they had sort of acquired all these other businesses, and they had kind of lost sight of that. So we helped them kind of re-engage with their founding idea, and that allowed them to sort of mount a global advertising campaign based on partnership, which, believe it or not, they'd sort of forgotten was their founding idea. There was this great moment in the workshop in Bermuda after they called me down there where we'd gone through all this exercise, and then I get to the end and it's like, well, your brand idea is partnership. And they look at me and it's like, we paid you all this money to come down here and tell us our own name. And it was like, thank you very much. Like, we had lost sight of that. And I don't even know if we can do it. We need to figure out all the operational implications to make sure that that's true. And it took them a few months to actually make sure that they were comfortable with all of the downstream implications of positioning themselves as that in the market. They did. That allowed them to sort of carry forward the campaign and sort of improve their business, continue to improve their business performance now under a sort of coordinated idea, as opposed to kind of the different directions that the acquired business units were previously operating under.
James, do you want to set aside time for
sure.
Q&A?
And that's basically it. So
I see you're at 36 out of 37. That was pretty good. Okay. I didn't tell people to drop questions in chat, but you can do that now. Or if anybody wants to just chime in, you should feel free to do that.
I'm going to go back to the basic structure.
You could also, is there a hand raising thing here? There's reactions. Yeah, you could put a thumb up or something, or just chime in. Yes, Scott has a question.
First of all, James, thank you very much for this presentation and frankly, simplifying something that I think has been I've been involved in other branding things, and sometimes there's a lot of hocus pocus and all of that. I think this was really very helpful. Thank you. My question is just curious about your company. So do you also have a design team that iterates out how the brand should be presented? Because
yes.
Creative director people, but I don't know if you actually design.
In about half of our engagements, it's strategy only. So that Partner Re $6.5 billion organization, they already had an agency. They already had, and they were struggling with their agency because they didn't really have this overarching guidance for them. So there we did the strategic foundation work and then handed it back to them, and then they carried it forward from there. In other cases, we do become the executional agency, but those tend to be, not the Fortune 500 or multi-billion-dollar organizations. They typically will have, agency relationships that require a much larger firm than we are. We're a boutique. So and to be frank, there are 1,000 great agencies out there. There aren't that many sort of tight sort of strategy operations that can help you get this stuff sorted out efficiently and quickly. There's a lot of management consulting firms that'll have a minimum engagement of $2 million and take a lot of your money and sort this out genuinely, but do so in a very overblown process.
Okay, we had a couple other questions. Let's see. Who's your ideal client? From Angela.
So organizations that are legacy organizations, I think, are our most natural fit. So they've been around long enough to have accumulated complexity that makes it difficult for them to be able to articulate their value proposition without getting caught up in all the stuff that they do. So helping them sort of shed the excess of their own self-knowledge. So strategy is mostly about abandonment and sort of what you're going to let go in order to be effective.
Yeah.
And so I think we're particularly good at helping organizations kind of do that, sort of cleaning out so that they can have a singular message.
Very cool. Okay, there's one more question.
Can I refine my question a little? 'Cause
Oh,
what
sure.
What I really wanted to understand was, do your clients know they need your help, or do they need persuading? Like, do you identify them, or how does that usually happen?
No, they usually have to self-identify, but it is a fundamental challenge in our business because the work we do is to bring organizations typically from precognition to cognition.
Yeah.
So usually someone
Yeah.
comes into the organization and they say, "What? This is a mess. Like, how am I going to deal with it?" And then they reach out. So
Okay.
it's usually a new CEO, a new CMO, or somebody coming in and saying, "Come on, it can't be. We can't work this way. We need some clarity here." And then they reach out. So that's the typical scenario. But right, it's hard for an organization to kind of be self-aware enough to kind of initiate this with the same parties involved.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
could introduce the issue, of course, as an outside trusted advisor, but yeah.
Well, that was great. Thank you. And I guess it is 15 minutes and we do have 15, 16, 17, 18 people, minus James, 17 people, because James already did his presentation, to go through. And so I'm going to give it 2 minutes per person. We'll start off with Gary. I'm, again, recording this, and I will time you, and you'll hear the buzzer, and I'll also put my camera or my phone right there. It'll be Gary, Scott, Angela, and then I'll go from there. I'll give you a heads up. So Gary, you are up.
Thank you. I guess if you join a little early, you get to the top of the screen. So very nice to meet everybody. We have a very niche focused group. We focus purely on driving organic traffic on the web and really managing the ever-changing pulse of Google on a daily basis for Fortune 100 to 500 companies. So really, ideally, what we're doing is we're working right in the middle of the agency of record and the web development company and providing really specialized insight. We've got our own kind of proprietary way of testing Google every single day and really managing that pulse for large companies. We do a lot of kind of trend forecasting because, as you can imagine, for big companies, they're massive ships. They don't really turn on a dime like a speedboat. So getting management consensus of things that are coming, trends that they need to be aware of is critical and important. Some of our clients, I think you mentioned it earlier, James, one of our big clients is Toyota. So we run all of Toyota's business for Toyota, by a Toyota, their owner site. They've also introduced us to Lexus, their sister company. So brands kind of from that nature. And the last thing I'll just kind of leave you with is that, Google, everybody looks at it as a search engine, but it's really a knowledge engine. And so, the companies that are producing data-driven content that makes them the knowledgeable authority for questions that are asked and information are the ones that Google is looking at as, a good intent match for your question when you ask it. And those are the ones that are rising to the top of the search from that standpoint. I think somebody asked, our company is Edgy Labs. You can go to edgylabs.com and check us out. What you'll notice about the site actually is it looks like a technology blog like BuzzFeed or TechCrunch. And the reason for that is that's how we test every day. We write articles and kind of growth hack them. So thank you guys very much. I think I'm up on time, as Michael has told me.
Great. Okay, Scott, you're up.
I have a firm called Lang Marketing, named after me. I'm managing partner, and I have 3 different areas of focus, clients in different areas. One is a little close to Gary in the sense I work with probably much smaller brands in digital marketing. I have an AI resource that helps me build custom audiences through AI, conversational listening, following persistent ID, following digital journey, and also working with email records and so forth. So I build out some custom solutions. For right now, I have an eyeglass company and about ready to bring in a CBD oil product for gamers, esports gamers. I also do sports marketing consulting, which is my long suit. I've been in that business for many years before this. And additionally, I work with a company called The Lonely Entrepreneur, which is a SaaS software platform that provides comprehensive information, knowledge, 300 modules, or think of the Encyclopedia Britannica of everything you didn't know you needed to know, things you need to know, templates, tools, a online community, a daily newsletter, and group coaching, all for entrepreneurs. And now with the COVID calamity for entrepreneurs, we're getting a lot of engagement with banks, and there's CSR, as well as we just started and we launched the Black Entrepreneur Initiative. Actually, we started it before the inflection point with George Floyd and what's going on, because we've had a minority advisory group for 5 years and did the Urban Entrepreneur Program in Newark with Cory Booker, blessing with his economic advisor. So those are the areas of focus. And I take on some new clients gingerly, basically, to not spread myself too thin.
Thank you. So it's primarily business development for innovative companies like the 3 that he mentioned. All right, cool. Angela, you are up.
I got inspired by James, so I'm going to follow his little triangle there. My what is Tempo Strategic is experienced digital marketing. We accelerate results for our clients. Our how is we focus on their business goals. I'm a 30-year entrepreneur, and I can't help myself. Every time I walk into a client, I have to understand the function of how their business and how it's set up, what type of industry they're in, because it always influences how the marketing happens, from timing to audiences. I also, the other how is that we seek to educate. I don't like mystification. I find it impossible to speak in jargon, and I always want to make sure that my clients understand what I'm talking about and that I've made it very clear for them. My why are 2 things: results and with reassurance. We drive huge results. One quick example I quote a lot is Yale School of Management needs 90 students for one of their courses. We gave them 5,035 qualified applicants. So when I say results, I mean serious, big results. But I also want them to feel reassured that they're doing it, we're doing everything we can, that that's the best that anybody could do, that we're looking everywhere we can, and that they've got a good team that's working with them very transparently. Our values, as you probably picked up by now, I kind of think Sacagawea. You know, we're partnering with them. We're on the journey with our clients. We have a huge amount of trust. I've had clients for 20 years, 10 years. And that means a lot to me that they want to continue to work with me. I had the great compliment of a client this year who said, "You'll keep working with us, won't you?" It's like, yeah, I will. And then I guess our brand ideas that I really want my clients to feel confident. I want them to feel confident about what they're doing and the decisions that they're making with us and the direction that it's going. So that's Tempo Strategic, and we accelerate results for our clients.
That's great.
What, 4 seconds to spare?
2 seconds left. All right. All right. So Kristin,
Thank you, James.
Kristin, Larry, and then Dale. Kristin, are you ready?
I am.
Go for it.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kristin Highland, and currently living in New York. My expertise is in corporate communications. I spent most of my years in Silicon Valley, and I find myself back in New York. I did work full-time with several companies, but I feel like my forte is really marketing strategy and communication strategy right from the get-go. So working with startups, everything on the table, messy, you know, and whittling it down from there. So it's there's a lot of creative thinking that goes into it. And James, I really appreciated your presentation. That was incredibly helpful for me. Currently working with two companies. One is in the higher education field, and then the other one that I'm more excited about is it's a new SaaS company. And they're currently just starting to get some initial customers on board, so I'll be ready to talk more about that in the next few weeks.
Wonderful. Best leads, you still have 42 seconds.
I'm sorry?
What are your best leads for new opportunities?
Oh, I have a pretty healthy network and I keep contact with people that I've known throughout the industry for 25 years. So if I'm usually referred to clients.
And what type of client is it? Would it be a tech firm, or what's your target market?
Definitely high tech, the nasty stuff that goes on behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And then taking all that and then bringing that out to the front in something that looks like, a valuable offering.
Great. Okay. That's perfect timing. Okay. It's going to be Larry, Dale, and then Ling.
Hi, everybody. Larry Joseph. My company is Takeoff Products. I'm in Princeton, New Jersey, longtime Philadelphian, however. James's presentation brought me back to Marketing or Management 101 back at Wharton with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, kind of a quick flashback there. I am a longtime provider of marketing collateral to business. Just to give you an idea, this is actually my current marketing piece. It's a Rubik's Cube. And on this side, it says, let us help you solve your branding puzzle. Gives you kind of an idea of one of the things that I'm into. I come from the custom loose leaf binder business, actually. My father had a custom loose leaf binder manufacturing company in Philadelphia for many years. He also got involved in the promotional products business many years ago as well. And after graduating from college, I went to work with him. I actually got him out of manufacturing because we hated manufacturing. We enjoyed the client relationship. So we were brokering the binders, and I also do a lot of fancy boxes as well, printed boxes. My largest clients for many years were the pharmaceuticals like AstraZeneca and Bristol Myers. When they would put a new drug out, I would do the kit that went to the detail people or the doctors. I did a lot of furniture catalogs. What happened though is technology came around and totally wiped out custom binders and boxes. And the FDA back about 20 to 15 years ago said, sorry, for pharmaceuticals, you're spending way too much money on collateral that's going to the doctors. So that was wiped out as well. So I've most recently been concentrating in helping clients with their branded merchandise, wearables, anything that a company needs to help promote what they do is what I can provide, including print, packaging, and the promotional products. My latest win is a large commercial real estate firm in the Philadelphia area that has 32 properties has asked me to create an online store site for them with all the logos. Really, that went quickly. I guess I talked too much. All right, thank you very much, and look forward to meeting you on LinkedIn.
Thank you. Okay, Dale, you'll need to unmute, and then Ling, and then Joe Maggot.
Hi, everybody. Dale Sprague, Canyon Creative, co-owner in Las Vegas. I see a few faces that I recognize, so nice to see you all. James, really great presentation. Canyon Creative was started 24 years ago, originally as a graphic design studio, and kind of melded into branding and marketing. So our sweet spot really is, it runs the gamut. We're in many different industries, but we like to really look at a holistic approach to their messaging and their visuals and how they're portraying all of their materials, whether it's across the web or traditional advertising. We kind of touch a lot of different things. And we also work with really small startups up to very large companies like Disney or Wynn Resorts, to name a few. So we love what we do. Michael knows this, that we're in the process of rebranding, and Lynn knows it too. So we are pretty soon, it was going to be a week from now, but now it's going to be 2 weeks. We're going to have our website relaunched, which gives a much better picture of who we are, what we do, what our values are. And we don't have 3 values, James. I'd have to relook at that. I think we have 12. But shaking his head. But I look forward to getting that off to you so you can take a look at it. would love to learn more about you and get feedback. So thank you.
Wonderful. Dale, thanks so much. And I have to thank Dale for bringing an opportunity to me, and hopefully we'll have the chance to actually generate some business around it. Okay, Ling, you have to, you're gonna have to unmute, and your turn.
Yeah, I'm ready. Yes.
Go for it.
Hi, everyone. Good to see you, Dale. My name is Ling, and I'm a digital marketing consultant here in New York. My specialty is paid search. And in addition to that, I also started a company called Dex. I'll send you guys the link here. Okay. And that's, you know, at Dex, I use my skills from the past 10 years in PPC and performance marketing to help my clients stand out using a simple tool, which is PowerPoint presentation. I am hoping to connect with, you know, other marketing consultants, boutique agency owners and entrepreneurs, where I can help, you know, amplify their voice and empower them with really great, compelling presentations. I'm looking forward to connect with you on LinkedIn also. I'll be sending my URL here.
All right, great. And what's a really good lead, or how do you define your target market?
I am good with digital marketing companies or marketing consultant. I think the latest project we finished were for commercial real estate in North Carolina, and it was really fun to work on that project because of you know, the design that we were working on was the commercial real estate design, so it's really fun. So yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Okay, it's going to be Joe, and then Bill McGrath, and then Sarah Brewer. Joe, you're up.
Hi, everybody. Joe Mag at Griffin Solutions. I help companies build IT departments that get the job done each and every day. The way I do that is by running a IT strategy process, working with senior management, IT management, and staff, et cetera. I do an assessment, facilitate current state, future state, put together a baseline report, and then use proprietary strategic management software that I built in my last company to present that back to senior management with a draft and help them establish a framework for establishing priorities. Because really the problem is that they don't do that in the beginning. Every member of senior management typically sees IT as a service bureau for their department, not the company as a whole. So they all throw their list of top whatever over the wall to IT, and IT is then trying to juggle and ends up thrashing and not getting the job done. So really pull them together and get them marching in the same direction with a clear sense of what needs to get done, and also give IT the opportunity to say no when it's appropriate. Because sometimes there's a emergency, we have to do this right now. It's like, well, wait a minute, here's our priorities, where does that fit? And allows them to say, you know, we'll deal with it, we're not going to deal with it right this minute. So that's really important. So that's pretty much what I do. Target market is middle market companies. They have to be at least 50 million or so in order to have a big enough IT budget to work with. Because again, the inefficiencies that come from that lack of prioritization is about a 20% overspend in IT. We can cut that at least in half. Top of the market, sweet spot's probably 100 to 200 million, 250. I can go a little bigger than that as well. Vertical doesn't matter. It's the process that counts.
Great, thank you. Bill. Bill McGrath.
Thanks, Michael. How's it going? And thank you all. Bill McGuire. My company is Concept One Communications, Westport, Connecticut based. I'm the only one in the office right now. We still have the office and we're using it opportunistically, but sometimes it's just nice to be able to escape the house and pretend like everybody's here. Anyway, we been around since about 2001. Started off life really as a integrated marketing, promotional marketing shop, focusing on CPG, entertainment brands, retail brands. Through that, we've done a lot of kind of entertainment marketing, partnership marketing. And I think of late, we've actually pivoted a bit. We still have some core CPG brands, like we're helping HelloFresh really with they have a direct to retail, they have a retail product. We're helping them out with that. But we've started doing a lot of kind of micro influencer and influencer marketing on social media. It's been something that some of our skill set in being able to leverage influencers for brands has kind of started to take shape socially. So we're doing that for clients like Dr. Scholl's and several others. Just started working for a new performance energy drink that's signed on a big NBA star. So that'll be something that's going on the next couple of months while they're playing in the bubble. So yeah, I mean, in terms of our sweet spot, we've worked with big brands like Gillette and other P&G brands, and we work with small startups like a baby monitor called Nanit that we did a bunch of work for just last year. So really kind of runs the gamut. We just look for that way to activate, again, kind of with a short-term promotional mindset to get people engaged in a brand story really quickly.
Great. Okay, that's 5 seconds left, so that sounds like it's a wrap. Sarah, you are up. You're on mute. I'm going to restart you when you start.
Okay. Howdy from Austin, Texas. I'm Sarah Brewer, and I'm a B2B marketer. I like to say I work for brands that want to win. Winning can be a lot of things. It can be category creation. It can be launching into a new market. It can be, figuring your way back from a pandemic, right? So I'm going to pull a Simon Sinek and start with my why instead of my what. And so why I like B2B marketing is I really enjoy taking very specialized, complex solutions and figuring out a way to help people understand how it's going to make their lives better, right? So for me, B2B marketing isn't about like companies buying from companies. It's about making that emotional connection just as much as buying, a new car is for a consumer. I'm looking for a new opportunity. I just got an offer yesterday, and I'm not sure it might be my Mr. Right now, but I don't think it's my Mr. Right. And my specialties are really either in that kind of $15 to $50 million startup range where they've already got some traction and they want to scale up, because I'm really great at strategy, team building out that infrastructure so that a company can scale and grow, or that $50 to $150 million company that's already kind of gotten to that level and wants to get big and not just stay small and or be acquired. So best leads for me, enterprise software and services are I'm strong there, add a lot of value there, know how to make people money there, save money or reduce risk, one of the big three. Data-driven solutions like that are heavy duty on analytics, and healthcare IT. And the main reason I'm here, honestly, is because I met Michael, I believe, at the Serial Marketers and maybe the CMO, and that's my time is up. And I liked him, so I'm here.
All right. Audrey has to leave at 6, although we're trying to get done by 6. But Audrey, why don't you go? I'll start your timer.
Thank you. I really do appreciate it. Hi, everybody. I'm Audrey Glover. I'm an attorney, and I focus on advertising law, intellectual property law, and privacy law, which, as all of you being marketers, I'm sure you understand, they all work together. So I work with small, medium businesses, small, medium agencies, startups, entrepreneurs, basically everybody and anybody who can't afford to have in-house counsel or work with the big firms. I help them to guide them to protect their businesses, and to go with the flow and the theme of today. My 3 words are honest or honesty, compliance, and protect. Because you need to be honest with what you're trying to achieve and what your message is. You need to be legally compliant, and you need to protect your business, right? So, Audrey Glover Dictor, I put all my information in the chat. If anybody has any legal questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful day.
Absolutely. Thank you. Okay. Mark, then let's see, Mark, then Regina, then Mary. So Mark, you're up.
Okay, hi, I'm Mark Thibault, Growth Strategy Advisors. I work mainly with investment groups, private equity groups, investment banks, and also private companies. And I actually like the private companies more because they often are more amenable. You know, a lot of times the investment banks have already decided what they're going to do. I also work with startups. But what I do is I basically do market trends, I do competitive analysis, I do positioning, and I try and do it all in the front. I use both qualitative and quantitative means, and the whole focus is to get to a go-to-market strategy. Again, unfortunately, the investment groups, a lot of times they've already decided. Eventually, sometimes this leads to some CX, UX, and also some process work, but usually it ends with the the delivery of the go-to-market strategy under a lot of NDAs, but we can chat in general terms. My best leads are often other professionals, lawyers, accountants, investment bankers, people who can refer me to the type of client that I need. And that's it.
And Mark, thank you for, I didn't have the correct pronunciation of your name. So it's Thibault, as in T-E-A-B-O-W-L, is that correct?
Mm-hmm. That's it.
All right, wonderful. If you could just spell it that way.
That's true, that's true. I always tell people it's T-ball.
T-ball, yeah, okay. Oh, T-ball, B-A-L-L, yeah. Okay. Mark also does a lot of work with the private equity firms. Did you mention that?
I did.
Okay.
Investment group, mainly private equity firms and small investment banks.
Right, and so we're going to have a conversation with Taylor, trustee of Signal Insights, because one of his clients is a private equity family. I think it's a family office. Okay, Regina, you are up.
Hi, everybody. This is my first meeting. My name is Regina Shanklin. I'm a marketing strategy consultant, an ex-pharma executive, worked in pharma for more than 15 years. And for the last 6 years, I've been a marketing strategy consultant. And my company is named Regina Shanklin and Associates. Most of the time, my associates are more market research firms or firms that add to what I do. So I focus in 3 areas. Basically, because I've been a marketer for many years in pharmaceuticals and I started in packaged goods, I do training and help people build the capabilities, the marketing capabilities in their companies. So I did a project with a healthcare nonprofit where I taught scientists to be marketers and actually identify, new service opportunities that they bolted on to their existing products so they could do more do-gooding. I also do business planning with companies and develop a process for them that's unique to their company. And I do some general strategy. So coming up with go-to-market strategies for companies, largely their communication strategies, how to target, the messaging, the tactics that will work. And I largely work in pharmaceutical companies, small. So a small pharmaceutical company really isn't going to sound that small. They're over $1 billion. But, some of them can be very large. Smaller pharmaceutical companies. And I also have worked with non-cigarette tobacco because they're heavily regulated. So companies that are heavily regulated and in the healthcare arena. And that's largely. And who hires me is usually directors or vice presidents of marketing in those organizations. Any questions for me?
Got 4 seconds, so gonna have to hold off on that one.
Okay,
but, cool. Wonderful. Okay, did I say Mary next? I did. Okay, go for it.
Hi everyone. So nice to meet you all. I'm Mary Zakowitz, and I have a brand design and strategic marketing communications agency. We're all kind of the same. I've had my agency for over 30 years, and we have a particular expertise in taking companies that are looking to sell themselves within 3 to 5 years, and coming in and looking at that company very closely, strategy, naming, rebranding, all communication materials, cleaning them up. And I've made several multimillionaires. They've gotten many times more worth for their companies. I also have a food and recipe blog that is my passion project. I put that in the chat. And from, I acquired over 32,000 followers within 1 year. So being the consummate marketer, I decided to create another business off of that, which the blog is called Love the Secret Ingredient. And the other business was called Mary's Secret Ingredients, which was a new media platform to promote and sample new products from food manufacturers that were all natural and good for you. My whole passion concept is to get people to feel comfortable cooking at home, to know what they're eating, and be happy, healthy people walking the earth. My husband and business partner passed away, so I put that business on pause and untangled it. And in doing so, I learned a whole lot of things we did right and things we did wrong. I also did crowdfunding for that business. And so I have a lot of irons in the fire. And it's fun.
Great. Well, thank you so much. 4 seconds left, so we'll leave it at that. Okay, Chris, then Brian. Chris, why don't you start?
All right, thanks. Hi, everybody. Really nice to be part of the group today. Yeah, so I run Bowl Media. We specialize in email marketing, which is a big topic, includes everything from marketing automation, lead generation, nurturing e-commerce campaigns. We're pretty much, been doing those kind of campaigns for a long time for companies like global manufacturing companies, higher education. We're working with a law firm, big law firm and big university right now. We've done e-commerce work. We've done healthcare work, B2B. So pretty much every vertical we've covered, and we cover pretty much every aspect of the process, everything from the, getting the marketing and the messaging right, which we talked a lot about today. Thanks, James. It was a great talk. Everything through to the design and then the technical coding to make sure that the design comes through and the message comes through when it gets in the inbox. So that's all important, including, but then there's other aspects like campaign management, technology integration, relationship marketing, deliverability, analytics. So a lot of things go into what is called email marketing, and we pretty much cover the gamut. In terms of people we would love to meet, I think, basically we've done little pieces or big pieces of the pie for email, for large companies, mid-sized companies. So it really depends on their needs. We're pretty flexible on that in terms of the vertical. But usually someone who has a little bit of they've already done the basics and they're looking to figure out how do they get advanced to a little bit more complex use of email to really grow.
Great, so a specialized marketing service, that's wonderful, email marketing. And then second to last, Brian, and then I will go. So Brian, you're up.
Okay, well, hi everybody. My name is Brian Rudolph. I'm currently in Atlanta, and I am a digital marketing and digital transformation consultant. I work with companies of all sizes, from small to mid-sized enterprise to, the top brands in the world. As you can imagine, the larger the company, the more focused I get on digital transformation and very specific insights around digital marketing centers of excellence and best practices. Working with the small to mid-sized companies, I'm a little bit more end-to-end, where I'm building out digital marketing strategy and then working with partners once that foundation is built and a customer journey is built for them, working with partners to finish out the execution. The types of people that I'm looking to meet are digital marketing directors, VPs of digital marketing in larger companies, or business owners in the small to mid-sized companies that are, kind of stuck, feel like they're marketing randomly. They are throwing tactics against the wall and just to see what sticks, and I can help them build out playbooks, build out customer journeys, and really put together a plan that will focus their marketing efforts and their return. That's about it.
Wonderful. Okay. So I will go. Did I leave anybody off? Speak now, or at least for the next 5 minutes, hold your peace. Okay. So my name is Michael Bendit. I'll start here. My company is called Software Development Resources. I am an independent rep for about 10 different software development teams. And about half the work we do is in the marketing space, which is one of the reasons I started this group, which is marketing focused, sales focused, and advertising focused. And our best relationships are with digital marketing agencies, actually. Some people might think, well, wouldn't those be competitors? Well, it turns out that a lot of digital agencies, smaller ones in particular, they need to implement, but they don't always have the right resources in-house to do the programming. They might have one or two programmers they work with, or who are employees. Maybe they do WordPress work. Maybe they do something else, but oftentimes a new technology or a technology they don't really have the skills for in-house comes over the transom, and they don't want to turn it down because they want to do the design, they want to do the strategy, they want to do the advertising, they want to do all these other things, but as part of the package, they need to deliver on the programming as well. So that's why I partner well with those teams. We tend to focus on the technical side and leave the design and the strategy to our partner agency. So we don't really butt heads there. And we work very in a complementary way. And also, I tend to have teams that are very cost competitive because I work a lot with dual shore teams, which are teams that have a US base or headquarters with a couple of people here, but most of their resources are, programmers are offshore. So they are most of my offshore or dual shore teams have resources in Eastern Europe, South Asia, and South America or Central America. And they all have different skill sets. They work with different platforms. They work with different programming languages. And that's why people come to me. Okay, so we only have 2 minutes left. I want to thank everybody for joining. If you're not on the Slack workspace, please join, because that's the easiest way for you to communicate and meet other people. There's a channel called Self-Promotion. You can sort of scroll through that and see who's in there that you might want to connect with. Certainly you should connect on LinkedIn with each other. There have been people have been dropping their LinkedIn into the chat, which if you can grab, that's great. I think you can download it by right-clicking on the chat. You should be able to download the whole thing. And of course, lastly, the way we fund this is we represent a couple of clients, right now 2 companies, and we generate referrals to them. We've done one so far. It wasn't a huge referral, but it generated some income, so that's great. That's Solo Segment and Signal Insights. Their information is on the Slack channel. And they also, like every 2 months or so, they do a presentation. I may reach out to you if I've come across on your LinkedIn that you know somebody who might be a good lead, or if any of you have an idea of a lead for either of those 2 companies, please reach out to me. Okay, wonderful. Our next meeting will be on Tuesday at 11 a.m. and I will send out reminders and links. So thank you, everybody, and have a wonderful evening.